Uh-oh, what do you got? What do you got?
All right. We are on take number 2. It's been interesting. Lots of commotion going on.
It was 10 minutes of outtakes, so we started over.
Yeah. and not funny outtakes.
No. Yep.
All right. So the Saturday video, our Friday night, your Saturday morning. We told you that Sang was coming over and he would be there in 2 hours.
He was.
He was there in 2 hours. So it was 9 o'clock at night. He rolls in. He is exhausted. Took him 5 hours to get here. He had already worked, I don't know, whatever, his 10-hour day or whatever it is, 8 hours. Apparently he could have done it in 4, but he got a giant leg cramp.
And he decided to do aerobics in the car on the way there.
He's like stretching it out.
He's much more flexible than you are.
Oh, I can't. This is it. This is as far as I can. It's ridiculous. So yeah. So gets here at 9 o'clock. It's pretty dark. We do the introductions with the dogs, get them calmed down as much as we can. That's always kind of a thing when we get visitors. Mm-hmm. And we show him his accommodations, and he is more than pleased with the accommodations. Yeah. He basically told me I just need a cot or a floor to sleep on and I'll be good. Because he brought a sleeping bag, he brought a pillow.
We see him unloading his truck and we're like...
Which is funny because we didn't have a pillow. We had pillows from when the kids were here, but we couldn't find them. So we went to the Dollar General and we bought pillows to make sure he had pillows. Yep. We bought a soft pillow and a hard pillow, or a firm pillow, just in case. We don't know what he likes. Yep. And he takes his pillow out and we're like, oh, he has a pillow. And then we had to go up to the chicken coops, up to the hoop coops, because we were hearing a bunch of sounds.
Yeah, this weekend was really a lot of coyote activity, and so we went up there because we were hearing a commotion. Dogs are barking, chickens are, making all sorts of noise, and so we went up there, checked to make sure everyone was in the right coop, because sometimes, even though we're trimming their wings,
they can jump over somehow,
they can still
or go under or something. Somehow they're getting...
I think they just get enough running start and kind of have enough lift. I don't know what it is. We've never seen them actually do it. It's just we hear it, and so we went to go up and check, made sure everyone is in their correct hoop coop, and then we went ahead and closed the doors for the evening, just as an extra measure of safety that we've been doing.
Yeah. So then I think that was kind of the conclusion of the evening. I think we hung out a little bit in the RV and just chatted, and then we went to bed. Sang said the mattress was extremely comfortable, didn't sag, it didn't leak. He said it was very firm. He loved the air conditioning in there. He said he almost got too cold, so he could have adjusted the temperature, but he said it was excellent, and he fell asleep right away. So then, what's that?
I bet.
Yeah.
He was tired.
So he left at 5 in the morning, Saturday morning. I actually got up and made sure that the dogs were going to be okay with a stranger coming out of the house. And so he left, and then I did my chores and actually went back into bed and kind of relaxed a little because I was really, really tired still. Well, hello, shenanigans. Hello.
Are you wanting to be part of the conversation? Yeah?
I don't know if you guys can see. I'm assuming you can see.
I would think so.
I think so. I do. So then at 8:30 in the morning, my friend, who doesn't want to be named, doesn't want to be in videos, he came over and helped with the project. We actually have the gate down at the end of the driveway. For the last year and a half, we've been dealing with that gate. Yep,
it's just a manual, big farm gate on a hinge.
Yeah, 14-foot wide
The hinge is not really secure, so it kind of drags.
Yeah, it drags on the ground.
And gravel, so it's a lift situation and open. Drive the truck through. Lift and put it back together, or put it back, make sure it's latched all the way, and then drive out.
Yeah. And then return. When you return, you're doing the same thing. Anytime we go get the mail, same thing.
Yep.
So anyway, so we've been dealing with that for a year and a half. Every time I'm down there, I'm like, I just want to fix this to at least make it free moving, where it doesn't drag. So my friend said he can help with that. He's done those. He's done several of those. So we did work on that. We thought it was going to be a couple-hour project. Turned out to be, I think it was 3:30, 4 o'clock by the time that he left. So it was a long project. One of the issues that we faced was the post that we put it into was more rotted than we realized, and by the time we realized just how rotted it was, we kind of were almost done with the project. So we decided we're not going to take it all apart and put it onto the other post on the other side of the driveway that had less rot to it. So if we need to, I can always reverse the swing later. But then we also started setting up the hinges and all the brackets for the automatic gate closer. But we got that set up, but we didn't get it programmed because a storm was coming in.
Yes. Yeah, I wrote down I got the alerts on both my work phone and my regular phone, and so I drove down on the lawnmower, or no, I walked down, they had the lawnmower down there, and said, hey guys, just FYI, because our friend, it's a couple-hour drive away back home, and I just wanted to let him know that hopefully y'all are at a stopping point or pretty soon, because we have a big storm rolling in. Mm-hmm. And we've been getting some really crazy weather here lately, a lot different than last summer, so we were wanting to make sure that everyone was, could kind of prepare their departures. Yeah,
get all our tools put away, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So by that time, Sang had rolled in. Yep. About 30 minutes before that, and so did introductions, and Sang was kind of hanging out with us. So my friend left, and Sang actually came in and he took a nap.
Yep.
He was
beat.
Exhausted, just exhausted.
Yep.
It was apparently a lot hotter down in North Carolina where he was, yep. And so processing the 20 meat birds and stuff, it was a bit much for him. So he took a nap, and let's see here, what did we do? Oh, one of the things I forgot to tell you was when we were working on the gate, not Sang and I, but my friend and I, the first thing we did is we went over to Rita and Howie's, and we got the gate. There's 2 gates that they offered us that they're not using, and we got that, put it in the truck and drove it over. And it turns out that gate was too short.
One was too long, one was too short, right?
The one we definitely knew was too long, so we didn't grab it. We'll grab it later, because it was also entangled in a bunch of, vines and stuff.
Probably all the kudzu coming from us.
Probably. And the other one, I think, was too short, so we actually weren't able to use it. We have a second gate just 50 feet or so away, and so we ended up swapping that, because the gate that was dragging and stuff, it was bent and it was kind of rusty, and
yeah, it looked like it had been hit a few times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was rusting out, like on the bottom you can kind of stick your finger through it. So, So anyway, all right, back to where we were. So Sang took a nap, and I don't know what we did at that point in time. I think we were editing videos, and then what did we end up doing? So
the storm, we ended up doing chores early, because Sang came out and helped us with chores, because the storm was rolling in and we could hear it, and it was thundering, and so we did chores really quick, pretty early, around 5 o'clock, and then I started dinner, and we hung out inside for the rest of the night.
That's
because
right.
It was raining, and it was pretty stormy for several hours. I think we let the 2 boys inside, open the door so they could go in. Kinsley was in the trailer with us,
yep.
And we just hung out in the trailer, because it wasn't nearly as bad as the 80-mile-per-hour gusts that we got last time.
No.
It was just a lot of thunder, and it was a pretty heavy rain.
Yeah, we couldn't really do much outside anyway. Do you remember what you cooked for dinner? Because I remember it was good, because all the dinners that you cooked when he was here were really good. Was that the steak?
Yeah, it was steak and mashed potatoes and the corn. So our neighbors had gifted us some steaks from their cows that they raised, and some corn from their garden this year. And I cooked up both of those, and then the potatoes, And so we just made a quick.
And the corn was from them too.
Right.
Oh, did you say that? I'm sorry. I got distracted by those shenanigans.
It's very easy to do.
It really is.
So yeah, I did. That was steak and potatoes and corn, just a simple standard meal. And then Sang likes his steak very different than how we eat it.
Yes.
He basically likes just to sear it on both sides, and that's it, and raw as can be. So I was like, are you sure? I feel uncomfortable not cooking the steak.
He loved it.
Yep.
Yeah, it was good. It was good steak. So we hung out a little bit longer.
Yep.
Sang went to bed. He was still tired. We stayed up, edited a video, portions of a video, and then went to bed. So then Sunday rolls around, and another big day. It was Sang and I did chores. All of us kind of did chores. He was having fun with helping us with the chores. Sang and I then headed over towards the gray barn where the sheep were, and we moved the sheep. And so that involved taking the lawnmower, mowing a new path. So I let Sang do that because he has never ridden a zero-turn mower before. And so he did that. Thankfully, he doesn't have any allergies because the weeds are very, very, very tall.
Yep.
We got just one paddock set up for him. We were going to do a second paddock, but by the time we got finished with that, then we had...
Breakfast was ready.
Breakfast was ready. I was going to jump to something, but breakfast was ready.
Yep.
What was breakfast?
So we had French toast and scrambled eggs and bacon.
And mine was special because it had the strawberry compote and yogurt on it, and you guys did the syrup.
The syrup, yeah. We did standard. He's fancy. He doesn't like it as sweet. So I just took some strawberries that we had frozen because we weren't able to get through them all, and froze those. I think our neighbors actually gifted us those strawberries too.
Nice.
They had gotten a big basket from South Carolina on a trip.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
And we weren't able to eat them all before they were starting to go bad, so I froze a whole bunch. And I just took cinnamon and a little tiny bit of butter and mixed it up with the strawberries in the skillet and kind of almost pureed it. And that was
so good.
That was for...
I think Sang was eyeing mine. He's like, oh, that looks really good.
I just forgot to ask him if he wanted some. There was still some in the pan.
We said that halfway through, and he's like, no, I'm good.
He's like, I got one slice left, I'm good.
All right, we finished breakfast,
Yep.
and then we had another friend come over.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yes.
It was a very busy weekend.
It was a very busy weekend. So Sean from the Modern Yeoman, Sean the Modern Yeoman, he came over for two reasons. Number one, of course, to visit with Sang. Sang's 5 hours away.
Yep.
We don't see him all that often. And so we ended up just taking a walk down, not just to the creek, but we actually walked all the way. What?
He's pecking my butt.
We walked all the way to the grain mill site because Sang wanted to see that. It was really hard to see because it was very, very overgrown.
Yeah.
And then we actually made our way all the way to the river.
Yep.
And it was a trek because you couldn't even see the trail
anymore.
Yeah. It was lots of weaving and dipping and branching and all that kind of thing. So we did that for a little while, had a good time with that. Sean wasn't able to stay very long because he had some stuff going on at the house, but he had a second purpose for being here.
Yeah, it was to be our first customer.
That's right. It was awesome.
Yep. We, as you all know, most of you who watch Sean and his channel, he's had an unfortunate issue with a skunk and was losing several of his hens. And he was down to an uncomfortable number for him. He prefers to keep his numbers over 20, and I think he's around 14 or 15 hens right now. So he came over, and we had some of our barnyard mix that was ready to some of ours. We knew for sure they were hens, and we wanted to, if our friend needed them, had them up for sale anyway. So went ahead, and he was able to get his pick of it's not quite a litter, the pick of the flock. And so he took two of our older ones that were born in the middle of March time frame. I took two of those hens, and then from the hoop coops up there, and then he took 4 of our younger ones that we hatched out that last go round, where we had the 3 broody hens and the incubator ones, where we ended up having 20 hatch out of the 21 eggs that which was crazy, and we weren't anticipating growing our flock by that number. So it was awesome to be able to help him, and it was awesome to be able to officially say we've had our first customer. Woo!
We've had our first sale of our chicken operation business.
Yes.
I think that's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
That's really cool. It's really neat. So I don't know if do we have any more to sell? Like, could we advertise somewhere that we have more to sell, or are we kind of at that point where Sean was at a perfect point for us, and he had the perfect amount?
Exactly. Yeah. We had exactly enough hens. We had a couple extra hens that he didn't buy, so I might have 2 or 3 hens that I could sell. but I'm also not going to be sad to add 2 or 3 hens to our free-range flock either.
Yeah.
We have some roosters. I think there's 3 roosters in there that I'm 90% positive are roosters. They're starting to show the behavior. Their tails are starting to get longer because they're only, I would say, what, a month and a half old, 2 months old at most.
Yeah.
At most.
Yeah.
So they're still starting to show their characteristics. And when it's a barnyard flock and it's a Brahma mix, and Brahmas aren't notorious to having the big long tails, it's a little harder for the roosters because Richard, it took us a long time to figure out he was a rooster because he looked like a hen.
Yep.
For the majority of the time until he started crowing. Mm-hmm. So, and he's the dad to all of them. But anyway, so our next big push is going to be, we have the Rhode Island Reds will be the first batch of babies that will be ready to sell. And then after that, we'll have cream leg bars, Americanas, black Austerlopes, and dark Brahmas. Those will be the next.
That's going to be a while.
Those will be the next ones.
Yeah.
And so we're probably looking winter to early spring when we'll be officially kicking off
our sales.
Like having enough to sustain and where we're going to be like, oh, we have 20 to 30 available, or, you know, larger numbers.
Yeah. So perfect timing, Sean.
Yep.
Perfect timing. Sean left and we continued to hang out. We went inside. We had kind of a late lunch, early dinner. We had, what did we have? You got to remind me. I don't remember what we had.
Oh, we had, I took some chicken from the chicken we processed, and I did it 2 ways. The legs I kind of coated in a large variety of seasonings, Greek seasonings, and all the good stuff. And the chicken, the wings, I took some cowboy candy Q that I made. So some barbecue sauce I made from the brine from the cowboy candy I made, I think last summer, maybe. And opened that up and, you know, did like a marinade and then smoked them all. And then I took everything on the plate was either from our garden or our animals or our neighbors gave us. So it was awesome. Mm-hmm. And then I made refrigerator pickles with some of the cucumbers just recently. Yep. That was really good. My first attempt. I think they were delicious.
They are very good. I had some this morning. Nice.
And then I took some of our colored chard, some peppers, some onions, and sauteed it all up.
And then you also had a tomato melody.
And then I took tomatoes and some basil and did like a melody, and I think I posted a picture on Instagram. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was what we had for dinner. I think that was Sang's favorite. I think he had like 5 or 6 pieces of chicken.
Yeah, he went back for seconds.
and thirds.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, so at that point, it was time for Sang to leave. Mm-hmm. So I made him a coffee to go, a latte to go, and he put it into his mug, and I thought he was just going to take it with him. He just downed it right there.
Oh, silly.
Yeah, I'm like, you want another one? He's like, no, I'm good. So before he left, though, he took a rooster.
He did. He took one more of our barnyard mix, and this was Sir Crozelot's last son. We no longer
a
Bielfelder. We no longer have Sir Crozelot, but the older batch that we had up on the hill, Sean took 2 of the 2 females, and we had 2 males, and Sang took one of those males. He was excited because he's a beautiful rooster.
He's a very beautiful rooster, and he was actually a really good rooster, unlike his father.
Yes.
And
his brother.
And his brother.
We went ahead and culled because he was aggressive.
Yes.
But this one was very nice, and he was good with the hens. Mm-hmm. We debated keeping him, but we already have enough roosters, and Sang really liked him, so we're like, yeah, go ahead and take him.
Please take him. Yeah. Yep. So all of a sudden that one coop run had 2 hens and 2 roosters. And now with no hens and 1 rooster, and that 1 rooster,
he's like did y'all forget about me? Like,
hello?
Why am I still here?
Hello. So he's just in there by himself.
And he's a beautiful rooster too. He's just a unique one. He's actually an olive Ager Brahma mix. So he's a unique kind of,
and it's
quirky.
more olive Ager than Brahma.
Yeah.
Except for these weird feathers. It's just like a couple weird feathers just stick out by themselves.
Yep.
And they're like a Brahma color.
Yeah. And then his coloring is olive Ager, and then he's got some fun brown and some colors in him. He's pretty.
He's a unique bird, yeah.
So I'll probably post him as well, because we have enough of his siblings around that we're not going to keep him in our flock as our free ranger.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the weekend.
Yep.
I mean, it was a very good weekend. I mean, generally Katie and I were not really ones to host.
No.
I mean, which is funny because we want to do Airbnb, but that's a little different.
That's
We don't have to hang out with them. We're pretty.
We like our space.
We like our space.
Yep.
But I will say that hanging out with Sang for those 2.5 days.
Yeah, it was great.
It was great. He's very easy to hang out with.
Yep.
He's funny, very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was awesome to have Sang. Sang, it was great to have you. I don't know if you watch this channel or not, but it was a really good time. It was great. So I'm going to put a link to Sang's channel down below. He's going to be coming out with a couple videos of his time here and his time at the chicken processing workshop. And it may not be ready by the time this posts, but when it is ready, I'll post it onto another video and I'll tell you guys about it, because he does cool stuff.
He does. He uses what he has. So I love that part about it. It's like, utilize what you have, make it functional, make it usable. And
yeah, it actually reminds me, before he left, we were kind of getting antsy in the RV. And you even said, so are we kind of done, or do you have things to do?
Yeah, it's like, don't we have some projects we could be working on?
You know what we do? Why don't we go finish the gate? So Sang and I finished programming the gate and then installing the battery and the solar. And what reminded me of that is the solar panel that I bought was just a cheap 7-watt solar panel for like $30 at Harbor Freight with no mounting kit on it. So we had to mount it to the fence line at an angle the right directions towards the sun, and he came up with an idea for just using 2x4s and stuff to mount it. Just like he's just that kind of, he thinks very similar to me, where you just like, all right, how do we can make this work without having to buy a bunch of stuff?
Right.
Even though I go out and buy a lot of things, but it's just one of the, I do, because sometimes it's just easier to do that. But it was fun to like do a project with my 2 friends. Yep. It was great.
Yep.
So.
And we didn't film a whole lot this weekend. We just kind of were in the moment, hanging out, and it was nice just to have, folks over that you get along with really well and that you can just chill. And it's okay that my house is a pigsty right now and I haven't had a chance to clean it, and you don't care. That's awesome. And I didn't feel stressed out about it.
It's okay to have those awkward silent moments. Yep. It's okay to just to go out and do a project and just do a project without having to
feel obligated to host them the entire time. It's like, hey, you know what? We're tired. We're going to go to bed. You have 60 acres. Go have fun.
Yeah, I did film us moving the sheep. I filmed a little bit of our goodbyes and stuff like that. So there will be some footage of it, but not a lot. Yeah, so that's it. That was our weekend. Today was boring. I edited. You worked.
I worked.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, did chores. I'm cooking dinner right now.
I can smell it.
Yep, I know I need to go check it. Make sure it's not overcooking on the smoker over there.
Yeah.
So, as soon as we're done here, we'll have some dinner and probably head in for the rest of the night until it's time to close up all the coops.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll see you tomorrow.
Take care. Bye. All right, tonight for dinner, we have smoked thighs, chicken thighs, that were marinated overnight in a cowboy candy cube. And then on the side is a rice with onions, cabbage, red peppers, all mixed together and sauteed with some soy sauce and the rest of the marinade that was left over. And then fresh with some topped with some fresh cilantro. And then I made a cucumber avocado salad, and it just has mirin, rice vinegar, and sesame oil. topped with sesame seeds. Hope you enjoy.